Hello, everyone, and welcome to CV Chats. My name is Laleh Hancock, and I'm going to be your host as we have different conversations, different chats with people all around the globe about our bodies, different parts of our bodies, our businesses, our relationships, our finances, our children, different things that maybe may not be a conversation you would have with others. But we're going to have conversations here that hopefully will inspire you to whatever's going on in your life, but also what can we create, inviting a different conversation about vaginas, penises, bodies, and so much more. Hello, everyone, and welcome to CV Chats. My name is Laleh Hancock, and I am your host. And I'm so grateful today to actually invite my friend Sylvia Puentes to join me. Hello, Sylvia.
Hello. Hello, everyone. And thank you for the invitation, Laleh. I'm curious where
My
we will
pleasure.
go today.
Well, that was one of the things that I was exploring, before we go live. I don't like to pre-plan conversations because it's the gift of actually following the energy of like the conversation itself. And one of the things that kept coming into, my awareness was how often are we following someone else's perspective or someone else's opinion about our bodies. So I was thinking, what if today it was really more about who's in charge of your body? Yeah, pretty big topic right there.
Huge topic. And I guess, as you ask that, it's like, wow, like there really is this moment you almost want to assume, your body's with you and that you're in charge. But when you ask me that, it's like, wow, who is in charge of my body? And what does it mean to be in charge with my body? What does that look like? What does it feel like? So yeah, so I can go in so many places with that, but it's what else is
Yeah.
possible here?
And it's interesting because the word in charge is not a word I use. It's not something that on a daily basis, but I wonder how many people do go to that place of putting someone in charge of their bodies. When I look at my career, actually I started in the medical field. My target was to be a pediatrician, and I spent many years working in hospitals, private offices and surgery centers. And it was interesting to always watch somebody outside of you was always the one. I'm going to call it the dictator. It sounds funny, but like that's the word that comes up. It's like they dictate the next step. They
Mm.
dictate what's really going on with your body. But today it's different. We actually have tools. We do have ways to communicate with our bodies. So, I'm sure all of us at some point, we did make it that going to the doctor. I have kids, I know I would take them to the doctor. So, yeah, I'm curious as we look at this, you know, one of the things with Conscious Vagina is utilizing the tools of Access Consciousness. And with Access Consciousness, it is about asking questions. And then that energy that comes up, if it's lightness, it's usually that it's true for you. But if it's heavy, it's not. It doesn't resonate. There's something that's not congruent with you or your body. So, you know, Sylvia, we'll put you here as our, asking these questions like what comes up for you when I ask that question?
Well, it's interesting because as you were saying, this is like kind of going through my even just my day to day, but also kind of going before I had the Access Consciousness tools, and even today with tools, how much I let go of really being aware of what my body would like. So, whether it was doctors or other people or being aware of other people's needs that really took precedence over what my body was asking for. I mean, that's been my entire life from what do you eat? When do you sleep? How much do you sleep? I mean, it was always everybody else's point of view, right? So it wasn't until I came to Access, empowering you to know that you know is the tagline. And when I got to Access, my point of view was that I didn't know anything and everybody else knew more than me. So when it came to my body, it was the last thing on the list, right? So much that even if I look at my day today, it's like I am so quick to be aware of everybody else's desires, right? Whether it's staying out later, where to go eat, what to eat. And I caught myself today going out to lunch with my sister and a friend, and they chose the place. But even driving there, it's like, it's not really the place I'd like to go, right? I mean, I've actually discovered that my body really enjoys nice, luxurious, pretty places and really good food. And it was kind of this work party lunch. So it was like, all right, so I went. But the truth was, it's like, if I got to choose, if I was willing to choose, it would be somewhere different, right? So when you say who's in charge of my body, it's like that question could be applied to every single second of my day, you know? So I'm as you're saying it, I'm realizing like, wow, this is a question that I could be looking at every day. It's like if I was actually inviting my body to be in charge, like my body to let me know, from what I would put on, for what I would eat, what I would drink, all of that. It's like it might not be what I think it would be. And that part of letting go of control, I think, is this exploration. So you're actually inviting me to become more aware of that now. And now I'm excited. It's like, what if the rest of my day it really was from like body? What would work for you? What would work for us? From our next choice. And yeah, I I often thought that I was in charge of my body. And yet the more that I explore that, and with this question, I'm going, wow, I really have no idea.
Yeah. And the target is not to be in charge because then it seems like that dominates, The key is this communion with you and your body, you guys choosing together and not an external source, Now, that said, okay, there's going to be so many events, situations where you and your body have to be flexible to the environment,
Right.
But I want to invite, because this is CV Chats, inviting the question,
Mm.
like even asking who is in charge, being like, hey, who am I giving the job to be in charge of my body? Is
Well,
it
I
me?
I just got one, and money is a big one. I give money more of a say when it comes to my body. And what does that look like? I mean, I just had a long flight from Peru to California, and my body was not happy with my emergency exit seats. Yes, it's a little more leg room, but oh no, it was really like, this actually doesn't work as I passed along all the first class reclining beds, right? So it's like in those moments, it's like, wow, I've actually let money be a big part of being in charge with travel for my body. And so
Mm,
when we look at that, when we look at money, right, from where we eat, where we go, travel in this case, it's like, wow, if I really had my bodies, if I really considered my body on those trips, what else would I choose? What else would I demand and create to have that ease with paying for that first way flight? And this could be, as we're talking now, it's like I'm getting more and more where we get to ask, it might not be here or my next flight tomorrow, but that demand to go, hey, buddy, yes, I would love to gift you that. What can we create and have that would allow for that ease of travel so we can enjoy it, relax in a whole different way? Now I'm grateful. My body is quite incredible that, I'm up, I'm cheerful, it's not the end of all, but wow, what would it be like to just give that extra elegance to travel for my body?
yeah. And the interesting part, for all of you who are watching this your first time and you're like, I have a body. What are you talking about?
Yes.
I thought I'm just walking, Um, yeah, you have your body and your being. And
Mm,
this communion of the being and the body is what the embodiment is. And the moment the baby's born, right? It's not just embodiment with the being and the body. Now you've got your surrounding, you've got everything that embodiment includes. And, when we're talking about the inclusion is from that first moment you wake up, just hug your body, say hello, be grateful, because it is your body. Your body is this beautiful gift from planet Earth for you to
mm,
be here and be able to experience and create what you'd like to create. And so often we don't listen to our bodies, you were talking about the flight, and I know you and I travel a lot. We're on many, many, many planes. But even before you choose your seat, are you
mhm,
willing to ask, hey, body, which seat would you like to sit in?
mhm.
I don't even get on a plane without asking, hey, which flight would you like, body? And sometimes it makes no sense. Like we're going the longer route to get to our destination. For what reason would I do that? But the journey was beautiful. Like the
Mm.
awareness, the information, the contribution, the person who sat next to me, like the ways it enhanced my life, their life, like
Mhm.
my body knew exactly what it was doing, and
Yeah.
even that price, the minute you are willing to ask your body, you also allow your body to be the co-creator of your life.
And
You
it's,
know,
and I'm so glad you're bringing this up, Laleh, because for me, it was like, I think for so many years, it was like, oh, people talked about your body and receiving. And I thought, oh, yeah, my body receives like a lot, right? And then someone's all, well, do you receive your body? I'm all, what? Like it was such this like, short circuit in my brain going, wait, isn't my body meant to receive? What do you mean, me receive my body? So it just started to change this perspective. It's like, and literally it was like this looking down, going, oh, this, but for me, it was like, oh my gosh, me receiving my body is a whole nother conversation, a whole nother awareness of it. There's the gratitude, the acknowledgement of what it gives me and all of that. But it's like, even the receiving of it with it doing nothing, it's just right here, right now. It's like, oh, hello. It's like acknowledging someone who's been sitting next to you the whole time. And you're like, oh, you've been here. Hello. Didn't
that
realize.
is, but that's such a great way, because like that whole conversation of who's in charge, so often we are making something outside of us,
Mm,
instead of like, I mean, this is a topic of like, we could talk about it for 10,000
right.
hours, but like, how often throughout your day are you making something outside your body the one in charge? It's funny because even like temperatures and things of that sort, it's
Mm,
outside of you, right? But your body has its own ability to cool itself and also warm itself up.
yeah.
So even that temperature is something that you can actually have more in communion with your body based on what would work for your body. So I just wonder if we start just to explore today and not make it serious at all, but like, hey, who is in charge of my body? Every second, that moment, whatever, or like even noticing when you eat food or you're going to order something. Like last night, I went out to dinner with a colleague, and it was so interesting. Immediately, when I looked at the menu, to, oh, is this what my body would like to eat? It was what she was ordering. It wasn't what my body wanted to eat. So then I asked my body, is this what you like to eat? Because it was so not typical of what my body would eat. It was like, no. But my body was giving me information of their body,
Mm, mm,
and so when we talk about this, it's not just that it's your doctor or something. your body is continuously communicating its environment to you, what's going on the earth, what's going on in your family's life, and how often we take that information and that awareness and we make it as if it belongs to our bodies.
I know that one so well. And that, the gift of asking questions with your body, like, who does this belong to? I know for me, even physically, when things are physical, the pain, it just seems so real. It seems like it so belongs to us. And and for me now, really truly acknowledging, like, body, wow, you have an incredible capacity of, going into people's worlds to perceive their pain, of sitting somewhere and perceiving the pain that someone left. That now it's like, all right, it's not a wrongness, but like, okay, like, what can we ask for different? Like, we don't have to take that on. But now realizing that it's a capacity, an ability that my body has, it's like, oh, like, it's that sense, Laleh. I know that we both ride horses, right? But when you're riding a horse, your horse is aware of everything around it as well, right? And it's aware of you. But if we, like, I've noticed for me, as I've allowed myself to be more in communion with my horse, the ride is so different. Anything could be going around. Like, someone else could be doing whatever they're doing with their horse, and we're like, we're cool. Like, hey, we got us, like that sense. And with my body, I'm noticing that that's more and more. It's like last night, I was at my sister's, and all of a sudden I went on her sofa. She goes, "Oh, you got to try this corner of this new sofa she got," and it was so comfy. But the moment I tucked in that corner, I got this right leg knee pain, and I was like, "Who's got a right knee leg pain going on?" She's her husband. And I was like, wow, buddy, that's really cool. Like, you are so aware. We sat here and we can feel that. And the moment I acknowledged that, kind of shook my leg, it was gone. But that's how
Yeah.
amazing I'm beginning to acknowledge, I'd say, that my body is like. But for so often, it was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? I twisted it or whatever. We go into our stories about what it is, what it's going to take to change it. And really, like, how much is our body just inviting us to acknowledge it's aware? It's aware, we're aware, and we don't have to buy it or fix it or change it for anyone. And this willingness to go, wow, okay, I'm aware, and it's not mine. Is it relevant? Can I contribute? And if not, that's it. Like, it's so, I'm so grateful for the tools, because where it just doesn't make sense up here, but my body, once I acknowledge what's true, it will let go of what isn't it, belong to it, and create way more ease and space. And I get to then skip around to the next thing.
Yeah. One of my favorite tools is body. What information are you sharing with me? And I know sometimes it's so easy to like go first into the problem and instead of like, oh, wait, we don't even have a
Mhm.
problem. Why are we
Mhm.
manufacturing a problem? This was just an information. Because to
Yeah.
me, bodies are like little kids, they're like, hey, look what's going on over there. Look, oh, we just helped this person's knee problem, like it's like this like enthusiastic kid who's just like so excited about its environment and the capacities that we
Yep.
have. But then we as the being are like, oh, I felt it.
Yep.
Your body felt it. You are
Yeah.
sensing what your body is feeling, and therefore you think it's yours. And so, how often, just like that, I guarantee you 90+% of people sitting on that corner of that couch immediate would have thought, what did I do wrong? Did
Yep.
I twist my ankle? Is it my knee? Like, they go straight to the problem
Yeah.
instead of, wow, hey, body, what did
Hmm.
you just say to me that I misunderstood or I didn't hear it? Or what is this? And from that curiosity.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, I wonder, because, like you said, without, if we weren't going into the problem, or if we didn't have a problem with our body, what other questions would be asking? And that's, years ago, I remember I was exploring, my awareness with my body, and Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, said to me, because you have to ask, what can they receive? I don't remember the exact question, but anyways, that was a question. I said, well, receive what? He's all, receive. It's just receive. And what I noticed is this capacity with my body is that it's, like you said, so aware, so ready to, there's a term in Spanish, metiche, like, nosy. It's willing to go everywhere, right? What's going on over there? What's going on over there? But the willingness to ask, okay, can they receive? Because that I'm noticing that I'm so willing to gift. My body's so willing to gift. When it's not received is when that energy gets stuck over here and I'm making myself wrong, my body wrong. When they're willing to receive, it's just this flow of here you go. And I remember walking through the city in Mexico, and there was this mother carrying this large boy, I'd say 7 or 8. So he was, pretty big. And I looked, what seems to just the random glance, but the moment that I looked, I'm noticing that subtle little thread of like, I'm in, like, what can I contribute? What's going on? And then I caught myself and I said, wait, can they receive? Can that boy receive? Yes. Then it was just like, here you go. And then I could go on. But then I realized, wow, hold on. If that's how easy it is to contribute, so what if anybody and everyone around the globe that could receive, here you go. And then I just go about my day. So when it's not about a problem or fixing, what else could we be asking that our bodies could be contributing to changing, all sorts of different things. And that part I'm going, wow, body, like, what are you showing me with, taking on pain or being aware I'm in someone else's world? Like, what other could we be choosing with these capacities that we haven't explored yet? So,
Yeah.
I
And
wonder.
the this, we can have so many conversations, and there, you guys, there's so many classes, access consciousness classes for bodies, body communication, conscious vagina. We actually have this conversation all the time. There's 3-day body class. There's like a lot of different ways you can start to explore and learn more. But one of the things is that it's not always your body who is going and pulling and taking. Your body is just communicating. And
Mm-hmm.
it's how you, as the being, react to that communication. A lot of times, the being is the one going and healing, even though the body's like, no, 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 that's not what I said. I just said, hey, they have a knee pain. I didn't say we need to go there. But yes, body's natural capacity is to go heal. And it's not just heal. One of its capacities is to heal the
Mm-hmm.
earth, heal bodies, other bodies. But this is where we got to really start with the communication and not assume anything. It's
And with
the
that communication, like I didn't know that. I didn't have any sense of like, how do you communicate with your body? And yet it
Yeah.
may seem simple for so many, but oh, you mean when I have like possible heartburn, or like that could be my body saying, I didn't need another bite or another, so listening to that, when you have that space and lightness in your body and being, like, what if that can be more of an indication of there's actually a sense of you are taking it into account, so for me it's that exploration. It's like, body, how do we communicate with each other? It's like meeting someone for the first time. It's like, well, what do you say, and are you listening, are you asking? So it's like, this is where the invitation can be, to start to explore and ask, like, body, let me know what you would like, let me know when you wouldn't like. And I've known people to ask that and their bodies have been really loud, like when they let them know they didn't like that, they ended up vomiting. That's like, okay, you asked me to let you know I didn't like that, or whatever it is. But that exploration and that play of like, okay, body, show me today. And that's
Yeah.
that willingness to be so present that you take that one extra drink or that one extra bite and your body's all, no. And the willingness to stop, right? Or in your case, when you were talking about flights, like this seat or that seat, that seat. Okay. It doesn't make sense to me, but body, what do you know, right? And I get that the more we explore that, the more sense we'll have. It's like, oh, my body really does have my back. And when we have its back, like there's just a different journey we could be living on the planet if we allowed our bodies to be that much of a contribution. So If anything, Laleh, I was like, wow, I'm receiving so much from this call because I was like, oh, it is a different invitation to live with what would it be like to be in communion with my body? What else could we choose? How much more ease could we have? What would living on planet Earth be like if I had communion with my body?
Yeah. And the beauty of it is you do at moments, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's not that it doesn't happen, but if we are opening our awareness and asking questions to our bodies, how much more? Like this is it's an undefinable amount, right? Like you can just keep making that communion and communication be so much greater every moment. So I think
Mm,
the key is, please, guys, it's not about making you wrong at all. It's
yeah.
like, oh, the moments I am and those moments I'm not, and the moments I'm not, what else is possible here? What can I be asking? And even just that one question, body, what information are you sharing with me here?
Yeah.
Whatever it's intensity, pain, or heaviness, or whatever that sensation is, even the moment you feel confused, like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like going to question opens that door for you to gain more information and awareness. So,
Yeah. And just one last thing too, it's like I get more and more like this gift of choosing to have a body, like, like what we get to enjoy, you know. Um,
mhm.
so just that sense of enjoying, everything you get to enjoy because you chose to have a body, from what you touch, what you look at, if you just look at the senses, but all of that is the body receiving, right? What you get to look at, whether it's something you add to your space, whether it's the cloth that you use. And I realized that I actually really enjoy touch. So it'll either be my skin or I have a glass table right underneath me. And as I've been talking, it's like, oh, I'm just like little tiny circles around it, But that's this gift that we get to truly choose or not to enjoy is that gift of embodiment. And this is what, some of the classes of Dr. Dane's classes, the body whispering class, there's a body whispering book, but it's this invitation to really acknowledge the body in a different way. There's what's the one on embodiment, the book you should have been given?
Well, when you
The,
were born, I think,
yeah,
actually, the
something like
book you
that, but
should have
that
been given.
gift of embodiment. But
Yeah.
just those conversations of like, wow, we're so used to thinking that it's our mind that's going to lead the way, and yet very few, I think, yeah, very few places really invite you to bring along the body in a different way, and I'm grateful for that. It's been definitely an invitation to live in a very, very different way. So thank you for bringing CV to the world.
Well, it's interesting because when the chats got created, it really was having a different conversation,
Mhm.
and with CV, everything's about bodies and allowing us to actually receive and stop the judgment.
Yeah.
When you stop judging your body, what else is possible on our planet? Like truly, really enjoying and creating instead of utilizing our energies for judgment. So, like, I really wonder, like, even this conversation, like, what did you guys gain from it? Like, did you start to notice anything different? Notice even moments when your body relaxed.
Mhm.
Like there's such subtle moments of communication. And so, yeah, I'm curious hearing people's feedbacks after the show, what they gained from it too. And
Yeah.
it'll keep going, you guys. The more you listen to this, you'll notice like you'll hear things you didn't even know we said the first time you heard it. And it's like you're opening that space of receiving
Mm.
even more.
I love it. Thank you,
Thank
Laleh.
you. Thank
Yay.
you, Sylvia. I'm so grateful for you. And, we'll have in the show information, we'll have Sylvia's contact information, her website, if you guys would like to get to know more about Sylvia and her adventures all around the globe. And thank you. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Thank you for being here with CV Chats. Hopefully you had some awarenesses, information, some new tools to help you with whatever's going on in your life. Maybe even gain some more communication with your body. And we invite you to, who do you know that can also have this conversation contribute to? Will you help us in spreading the seeds and inviting this to go even deeper all around the globe, to people to know something else is available for us and we can choose something different with our bodies every single day. So thank you for being here. And if you have any comments, suggestions, or would like to have a particular topic on the next shows, comment below and let us know. You can always also send us a message in our Facebook. We also have Instagram with Conscious Vagina, and you can also contact us at globalwellnessraw.com/contact. See you soon.